Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super Fantify. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about Apocalypse Bringer, Mynoghra, Season 1, Episode 10. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. This episode gave me the answer. I kept being like, I think I brought it up last episode. It's like, why does Atu have a sword? That seems so unnecessary. And then they brought it up this episode about her harvesting ability. I was like, oh right. I was like, right. She killed those knights, or rather those paladins, a couple episodes back, and she got the sword and the skills. I was like, right. Why? Because up until this, because like, yeah, to be fair, we haven't seen her step back on the battlefield since then, so it makes a lot of sense that like, oh, I'm coming to this battlefield with all my skills ready to protect Dragonton. And the poor mare is going through it because at first she had to deal with the twins and the eaters. Sorry, I have to call them brain jackers. The brain eaters and the twins, and now she's got to deal with Atu, who's scared the crap out of her. She's like, oh no, thank you for all you do. It's like, oh, you could go back to do whatever you want. She's like, oh, thank you so much. The only reason why the rest of the town isn't like that is because PP had kind of put in a good word by saying like, oh my god, calling her an octopus, and now people are seeing like, oh my god, she does kind of look like an octopus because of her tentacles, which she doesn't appreciate, but it's like, whatever, I'm not really in a position to like push back on. I even love later on while she's talking, her mouth literally takes on the form of like an octopus's thing, and but yeah, obviously Atu is wrecking shop. No one's even had to step in except for, even Moltaire hasn't had to, except for later on he has this moment where he brings out like a cloud of the Mynoghra's like, it's a field of, oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Field of effect of basically turning it into like a small area into Mynoghra's like area of influence. So these monsters, because they're not properly like evil aligned, they are affected by it, and and weakened, and Atu is able to get strengthened. So she's pretty much the main one on the battlefield, but Moltaire is like, nah, my allegiances and wanting to help out and everything, I need to kind of put some work into. I can't just let Lady Atu handle everything on her own. I do appreciate, that Takuto can, not only see what she's up to like he could with the twins, but he has a more direct line of communication with her. He can see through her eyes and he can talk to her. Obviously being one of his heroes, it gives him that, because he didn't have that situation with the twins, but yeah, because they're residents of Mynoghra, but I think it's a special like dynamic only between Takuto and any heroes that he summons. So. And obviously for Atu, once again, she can't wait to get back to Takuto, and it's like, oh, like she's like, oh yeah, he's always been doing good about praising me, and he'll probably praise me even more when I get back. So a lot of really interesting things happen. Okay. So first and foremost, we circle back to the Saint and the Witch, which I thought was so surprising because I was like, oh, I think I literally brought it up last episode. I'm like, oh, I guess we're never circling back to that storyline. Never mind. The Saintess shows up with some paladins to deal with the witch. They immediately get got. And apparently the Saintess has executed her like 17 times, this time making 18, and she keeps coming back. So they kind of have this whole thing. And even like Erikin, what's her name? Was it Arakino? Arakino, that's it. Arakino is saying like, aren't you a little bit too OP? Like, that's kind of crazy how powerful you are. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, I haven't I killed? She's like, no, you have actually killed me 17 times. And she's almost like, every time you show up, you bring 14 more people with you and stuff like that. It's like, it's kind of like the same old rigmarole every time. But she resurrects people, some of the people in the village she killed, as well as some of those knights. And the Saint just like kills and burns all of them, and then immediately stabs the witch with the staff. And she has this interesting line where she's like, oh, this game is so hard, whatever. I was like, wait. I was like, are you like Takuto? Are you in this world but you're a gamer? Is that what it is? But then we explore other angles of it when the hill giant that got summoned that Atu kills, coins show up, and then Takuto, looking through her eyes, sees a coin. He's like, that emblem on it seems familiar, and it's from a different game, Brave Questus. In fact, it's not only just from a different game, it's from a different genre of video game. And they're like, now, and it makes sense. Like, this world has become like this amalgamation of things. Like, this world existed on its own, and then now all of a sudden these video games stuff from other worlds. Because Takuto, to our knowledge, seems to be the only human, but then like all this other video game stuff is getting brought in. So that's why I was wondering, like, is the witch actually, because Takuto was like, yeah, like there is no witches in Internal Nations, so that's not coming from Internal Nations, and these enemies aren't from Internal Nations, they're from Brave Quests. But that's a classic RPG versus Eternal Nations, which is a 4X simulator. That it's like, what's going on here? So I wonder, is there someone larger at play doing all this? Well, I mean, because everything from Brave Quests seems to just be brought in on its own, but like for Takuto to end up here, for Atu and, you know, Isa, the whole, like, once again, everything from Eternal Nations, it's like, I was like, that's such an interesting development. I didn't even clock that this is the direction that this story was taking. And that leads to a really interesting thing too, where it's like, you have to be used to, you have to be prepared for a game's mechanics, as that's something Atu ends up learning in her fight against what is essentially, what was it, the Ice Giant? Was that his name? Because one is like a fire guy and one was like the Ice Giant, and they're like, well, at least one of them is a mid-level boss, and Atu deals with him and a whole bunch of orcs because they were able to spread the effect of the, I don't know if it's because Moltaire wasn't the only one doing it, maybe the other subordinates of his helped spread it out, but it's also something that Takuto talked about, because we have clashing genre of games, their mechanics don't fully line up, and so it gives you advantages over others in certain regards. Because Eternal Nations, it's meant to be like an army fighter, and so a lot of things have a large area effect because it's meant to strike a large army. So because of that, you're able to spread the effects of that battlefield of like the land of ruin. You're able to spread that very far just because of the natural mechanics of the simulator game that Eternal Nations is, versus RPG, which is like a small scale thing. You know, it's typically like a small scale group of enemies versus like a small party of players or something like that. So like I said, the systems and mechanics kind of coming in conflict. So jumping ahead a little bit, when like Atu is going toe to toe with him, because Takuto's also played this game, so he knows their strategies, and she knows, like, she's taunting him and being like, oh, bringing up, you know, the chosen hero, kind of like, oh, the name that shall not be spoken, to irritate him, and also talk about like, oh, you don't remember anything, do you? Because he was talking to the other monster, being like, oh, what happened to our ambitions? I was like, oh, who cares? The Demon Lord asked us to do something, we do it. And for him, it was the whole thing of him. She's like, oh, you remember all the times you were defeated. And it shows a video game menu of, oh, the Ice Giant's been defeated. And it starts wearing on, attacking him psychologically, sending him into a rage. And he performs his strongest attack. And Atu thought she was ready for it. But then she got frozen in place and he hit her. I was like, oh, is this going to be like a shadow clone jutsu thing of like, it's going to be a fake or whatever? But it ended up really being her, but she survived the attack and then proceeded to attack him. And then she got super upset because she's like, oh, that was such an embarrassing display. Like, if Takuto had seen that, and he most likely did. Oh, but what pissed her off the most is like that cheap attack, especially because she gains the ability. And she's like, wait, it always hits. She's like, that's such a cheating ability that you can't, it has 100% hit rate. Which I love that. Like I said, it's just, and she recognizes like, okay, like this RPG mechanics work very differently than this Eternal Nations mechanics. So it is the dangers of all these like video games. Like, they have advantages over those other styles of genres of games, and this one had an advantage in this regard. Granted, she got a good ability out of it, so if she hits it, I mean, it has the disadvantage of once you like use it, it rebounds and you're kind of immobilized temporarily. So it's just, it kind of like has a backlash to it, but it's a very powerful skill that will always hit. So that's something to note and to have. But he had also brought it up to Atu before like dying. He was like, we should work together. You should serve the Demon King. But for her, it's like, for one, the only king is Takuto, and also it's like I'm struggling just ruling one nation, like all the paperwork I have to do, like are you good with paperwork or not? She's like, I can't imagine even ruling an entire world. She's like, I have no interest in that. That's also not what Mynoghra is about. It's like, no, let's just build things up and keep to ourselves. That's all they want to do. They want to be able to expand their power by like bolstering their defenses so no one can mess with them, but it isn't necessarily about, oh, let's go out there and conquer, whereas the Demon Lord is. So I'm curious, is it properly the Demon Lord from the game, and is he being puppeteered by maybe a player, just like Atu and Isa are all in servitude to like, Takuto. Like, what if the Demon King's in that same boat? Or maybe he's in a similar situation and he's not even cognizant of it, not realizing he's just a puppet on someone else's strings. Maybe it's connected to the witch, Irakano, or maybe it's unrelated. Like, with everything colliding in this world, it's such a fascinating development for the story with all of that. But the other demon had a mission of his own to accomplish, and that was to go after Mynoghra. So I find that fascinating, like, because they've had so much attention drawn towards Dragonton and everything, but why switch to Mynoghra now? Is it because were they always one of your goals, or did they only become one of your goals once they start interfering with you going after Dragonton? Now you're going after them because they were probably hoping to do what they did, because they must believe that I'm sure they're not aware that another hero has been summoned. I mean, granted, like Atu is their heavy hitter, but they do have a heavy hitter in defense, and that's Isla's main whole thing is about being defensive, getting your defense preparations ready. So that was the whole purpose of summoning her too. So, and this might also be an opportunity. Well, they also have the Brain Eaters too there if they need to. And we haven't had an opportunity to fully see the twins in combat. We don't know if they really have any. Must have some combat skills to some degree, but like to what degree we don't know. So, but I'm curious to understand, like I said, it is about world conquest, but like the fact is that you would start with like a neutral or good country, and then all of a sudden shift to a bad one. I mean, that was already in place, because I'm like, do they even know like the true everything going on with Mynoghra, that it is this evil country? The fact, like I said, the fact is getting targeted is fine, so fascinating, because they've kept themselves hidden, because the only people who really have known they're, or at least supposed to know they're there, was like the paladins, but then like they died, and we haven't seen anything on the saintess' side of things of sending one else out there after they all died. So not less Mynoghra's been under someone else's watch this entire time, in the regards of like the Demon King and all that. Like, we have no idea, or Demon Lord rather, we have no idea like how long they've been in this world, and how long they might have been watching Mynoghra. So many questions. I'm very interested to see where the next episode takes us. Kind of the penultimate episode of the season. Not kind of, is the penultimate episode of the season. So what goes down there and what sets up for the season finale. Like, I'm so curious to see how this plays out. Like I said, find out maybe more about who's at the heart of all this. I don't think anything bad is going to happen. I think Mynoghra is going to be in good hands with Isla. I hope it doesn't end up being that tragic situation that she ends up getting killed, especially because the twins have gotten close to her. Because if you look at the outro, there's that thing where like her character model's kind of like fading away, like the screen is glitchy. I don't know if that's supposed to be representative of when they summoned her, but I'm also like, I don't know if that's supposed to be fortuitous about her dying and the twins losing another mother like that. I hope that's not the case. I mean, it'd be literally Mynoghra losing a mother, considering how motherly she was to everyone last episode. So like I said, we'll have to wait to see. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.